Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings. I'm Jesse Arnold, and today I'm giving you my review of Bad Batch Episode 6, Decommissioned. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching and joining me here today. If you have a moment and you enjoy this stuff, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for all the new folks who have been watching and commenting. I really like interacting with other people, not even necessarily fans of my channel, but just other people who like this stuff. I just like talking to other fans. So that's why I do this. I put all my thoughts and ideas out here, and hope to talk with people. And I've been enjoying that. So if you want, hit that like and subscribe. Send some comments my way. And if you are interested in checking out my collection, I have an Instagram page called Just Shelve It, just.shelve.it, over on Instagram. If you want to check out the collections of all this stuff going on behind me and in the rest of the apartment that you can't see. That said, let's get into Bad Batch Episode 6, and the little blurb at the beginning of the episode says they run into some other smugglers, and fair warning, if you have not watched any of my previous Bad Batch reviews, these are going to be, they're going to have spoilers in them. The episodes are too short for me to break down too much conversation about different things. So if you watch this and you have not watched the episode left, you will hear spoilers for this week's episode and previous episodes. So the blurb says that they're going to run into some smugglers going after the same thing. And the beginning of the episode, we see that they're going to Corellia to retrieve a tactical droid that is being decommissioned, title of the episode, and that tactical droid has value now because the clones are the stormtroopers in the still early days of the Empire, and that information is valuable to all sorts of disreputable people, and maybe potentially future heroes of the rebellion. As it was Corellia, my first thought went to running into young Han Solo, which would have made him about like in the 10 to 13 age range, possibly at this point in the Empire. And it might have been an interesting dynamic to see him run it into Omega. But as much as I love Han Solo, we don't need to see him linked to everything. Especially since he's getting a huge storyline even though he's frozen in carbonite, in the War of the Bounty Hunters in the comics right now, which if you've not checked that out, I highly recommend it. If you want some incentive, I put some spoilers in this week's comic rundown, week 22, about the technically first issue of the miniseries. But that's a whole nother thing. Bad Batch go to Corellia. They are sent by Sid, who they seem to be totally fine with working with Sid, and at least for now. And Omega is learning how to use that fancy, I'm not sure what the technical term is, her energy bow. And they get sent out on this mission, and they don't make her stay on the ship. They bring her along, which is great. I know a lot of people are complaining, or at least saying that they think she's just going to be this annoying character who's going to be constantly getting in trouble and needing rescued. But I feel like, having watched Clone Wars, all the characters were that character. Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Padme, they all end up getting in situations that entire series where they need help or they make a mistake. So I guess it's just easier to pick on Omega because she's a kid and she doesn't have any cool force powers or anything that we know of. I'm still holding out that she's going to be force sensitive. Like I said, maybe not full on Jedi, but regardless, they bring her along on the mission. She's given a thing to do. It's not a huge task, but this episode was a lot of fun. I think I always laugh at a couple points in this episode, or in each episode, but this one had a couple really good laughs for me, because they were kind of pun related, and I love puns. But yeah, so they go and they're trying to find this decommissioned or tactical droid that's about to be decommissioned because they learn from their encounters and they've been fighting the clones, so they know clone tactics. And they get in there. They're fairly well into securing this thing. Wrecker is having more issues with his head. So clearly that is going to be a big issue at some point. Hopefully not to the point where they have to take him out, but that they can remove his chip to help him out. And it comes to the point where he jumps across this chasm to this bridge area to secure a switch, and he bangs his head against the wall, which I know all too well how disorienting that can be. And he falls to the ground and he's groaning on the floor, and he starts to mumble, "Good soldiers, follow orders." He doesn't get through the whole thing, but which is just kind of heartbreaking to see that happen to this character, because he's kind of one note, but I really like Wrecker. Meanwhile, the two infiltrators are also two other infiltrators are also after this droid, and it is not the smugglers I thought it would be, because Han would have been way too young, like I said, and I thought maybe it would be a couple other people, but it turns out to be the Martell sisters from the middle arc of season 7 of Clone Wars, which I've seen a lot of people really dislike those episodes, but I really enjoyed them. I think those two characters are very interesting, especially when they were juxtaposed with Ahsoka and her coming out of the Jedi at that point and being kind of slam dunked headfirst into the icy cold oceans of people's opinions of the Jedi. And I enjoyed that. I like those characters, so it was fun to see them again. And they fit very well into this scene, this episode. So it's all about them playing, finders keepers, basically, with the head of the tactical droid and with the rest of the Bad Batch as they're going back and forth between who has possession of it. And the police droids of Corellia are coming after them, and they have to use the droid head to activate the rest of the droids that are being decommissioned to attack the security droids. And it was a fun episode. In and of itself, not huge stakes, I think, overall, but then you realize that they lose the head, they're unable to get out with it, but the Bad Batch were able to secure it, all the data in this data rod, and Hunter gives it to the sisters as they're leaving. He's like, "Look, you're going to do better things with this than we are. We don't even know who Sid's buyer was, and if you're going to do the right thing, we're giving it to you." And he's like, "It was easier when we were soldiers. Everything was a lot more clear." So I like that he's having this growth, this thing where clearly they don't believe with the Empire or believe in the Empire. And it's interesting watching that dynamic change. And so, of course, we see them go their separate ways. And then we follow the Martell sisters as they contact their contact. And you don't really get a full look at the figure. You just see kind of the edge of maybe a cloak or robes. And I think it's way too early for them to be working with Ahsoka. Because if this is still in the first couple weeks or even months of the Empire forming, it's too early for her to be doing this sort of role. If that book, the Ahsoka book, is still considered in the timeline. Because that first year, she's pretty much in hiding, just making a run for it, trying to hide out. She's not reaching out and communicating with people she knows. My guess is that it's Bail Organa, because we've seen him in the prequels and in the Rebels series, and of course into actual Rogue One and the original Star Wars. We know he was behind the Rebellion and the Alliance. So I think it's him starting to pick up pieces of people, or he's already, working on this, even at the very beginning of the Empire, because he saw this coming, or a version of this coming. So that's my guess as who the hologram is that they contacted, is that it's Bail, and they're going to give the tactical droid to him, which will, I'm assuming, help prove how the clones are going to phase out of the army faster, and that they're going to accelerate Tarkin's plans to use actual soldiers, like normal soldiers, enlisted soldiers and stuff. So anyway, I'm rambling, and that's what I do. That's my channel, Esoteric Rambling. So that's it for today. I really enjoyed the episode. I'm really looking forward to next week. I'm just really enjoying this. I love more Star Wars stuff. It may not always be the best Star Wars stuff, and I don't mean this show, but more Star Wars. I don't, until they go down certain avenues that I hope they never go down, I don't think I'm ever going to have a problem with more Star Wars content. So there it is. I hope you have a great day, great weekend, whatever it is you're doing, and I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. As always, ramble on.